morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. Welcome once more to another video podcast of PNTLIVE, here exclusively from the PNTLIVE network. I am your hostess, Alexandra Mayers. This week, AVN, the Adult Video News Media Network, put out a statement in regards to their supposed support for the Black Lives Matter movement. I'm here to tell you that, in my opinion, I think that they are full of shit. You see, AVN has a history of habitually and consistently engaging in what, from my perspective, has been nothing but racist practices and racist actions. I want all of you to take a good look at the following tweet from adult industry veteran Mr. Marcus. Considering the experience with AVN, this is reactionary tactics and misguided. Tried to talk to them years ago about this and was dismissed. The entire AVN staff will undergo racial sensitivity training. Yeah, I want to see it. In the following interview that I'm going to share with all of you, which was conducted by another adult industry veteran known as Melissa Hill, a woman who, not too unlike Mr. Marcus, has been given the shaft by the adult entertainment industry as well, quite possibly due to this particular interview. In fact, I even wonder if Melissa lost her LA Talk radio gig specifically due to elements discussed in this interview. But this particular interview, as I said before, was conducted by Melissa Hill, and the interview features Mr. Marcus along with another African-American male performer known as Shawn Michaels, who appears to have felt pressured to resign from his post as president of the Adult Performers Actors Guild Union. In this interview, both Mr. Marcus and Shawn Michaels allege that they experienced an instance of extreme racism at the hands of AVN employees at an AVN event. This situation has not been talked about much. Not many people have even heard this entire interview, but I'm putting it out there today because it's imperative, especially in these times, that African American talent of color, not only within the adult entertainment industry, but people of color within the United States, all over the world, realize the type of racism that adult entertainers have had to endure, had to face over the years. So many have felt that they have not had a voice. There have been voices that have spoken up about these kinds of situations, myself for example, but whenever anyone speaks up, they are demonized, blacklisted, and their peers are intimidated to such a degree that they're afraid to even communicate with individuals who do exercise their voice to speak out in regards to the injustices and the racism within the adult entertainment industry. Now, I do want to also add that Tasha Rain is mentioned throughout this interview, which is ironic considering some of her recent tweets that are supposedly in support of Black Lives Matter, and an individual who, from my perspective, there is no doubt that he practices racism due to his communication and his friendly affiliation with known white supremacists. It features a man known as Peter Warren of AVN. Why AVN continues to work with Peter Warren, I don't know, but considering that it seems that they are not willing to let him go, I have no choice but to look at that statement that I mentioned earlier from AVN as not only being disingenuous, but just being nothing but a piece of shit. So now I'm going to go ahead and roll the interview, and again, as I do, I will interject with my commentary.
Right, what we have to do today, which is the current incident that happened to you at last year's AVN, and I want you to go ahead and elaborate on that.
Well, I mean, I went down to AVN nominations. I've been at every AVN for the past 24 years, and now they do these AVN nomination parties within the last 5-6 years. maybe even longer than that.
All right, so let's pause right now. It's important that everyone does realize how long Mr. Marcus has been in the business. For the most part, he has had a stellar career, a near perfect career, with the exception of one incident involving an STD. Let's continue.
So I went to one in 2017, and I'm always uneasy at these things since that incident because I don't know who's friend or foe. When I see a friend, I'm happy. I light up. It's good to see fellow performers. But then your foes are a little more secretive and hidden.
All right, let's pause right there. I really hope at this stage Mr. Marcus realizes that an individual known as Sean Tompkins, aka TRPWL, is not his friend. Marcus, if you ever see this, Tompkins is a white supremacist. He is a racist. It does not matter that he has multiracial children. All you gotta do is look at his timeline. And over the years, I have seen you buddy up to that guy like a damn fool. So if you haven't waken up yet, wake up now.
So I saw Tasha Rain walking through the event with the AVN crew following behind her. And I thought, that'll be a perfect way to break the ice. I'll just do some on-air camera. I do a lot of on-air camera. I've taken pictures and videos for AVN these past 24 years. They got an archive, I guarantee you, of...
Let's pause right there. Again, I want to remind everybody, Mr. Marcus has been in the industry far longer than Tasha Rain has. Yet and still, as we continue, you're going to see how the industry treated Mr. Marcus versus Tasha Rain.
And I saw her and I thought, okay, this would be good. So I reached out to get her attention. And it wasn't even a split second. She just kind of moved away from me. And initially I was offended because I was like, I feel like, do I have like, is my skin bother you or something? I just immediately thought it was a race thing because she moved so quickly as if, don't touch me. And I kind of felt embarrassed a little bit because I was like, because I was there with a friend. So I just kind of sat back in my chair. I didn't even get up. I had reached out to try to get her attention. She was walking past me. And when that didn't happen, I just said, oh, well.
What was it that you were trying to tap? Her hand or her waist?
Yeah. Okay. I was reaching for her hand. That's exactly where, when I walk into these events, I'm fully aware of my environment. I observe everything. When I'm walking down the street or when I'm driving in my car, people approach me all the time. Hey, Mr. Marcus. Hey, Mr. Marcus. I'm in the grocery store. Over my shoulder, up in, if they're ahead of me, I observe. If they're staring at me, if they recognize me, that's just who I am. It's been a long time. I've been doing this for a long time. So I kind of got my feels out for things, right? So I'm thinking that this was going to be a good thing. I thought, perfect. I can talk to her, get on camera. Because I had never talked to Tasha in my life, but I knew AVN. So I thought, that's my end. And when she kind of dismissed me, I was just kind of like, okay. That's happened before. I was already apprehensive when I got there, so I figured that's fine. I know better. I know. Just grab a drink. It'll be fine. You'll see a face you're familiar with. Just keep moving, right? Not even 2 minutes later, the security comes over and asks me to leave. And I'm like, for what? And they say, and I look over and I see Tasha surrounded by, some of the AVN staff. And she's looking hysterical, and I'm like, I walk over to her because I'm thinking I can straighten this out. And as soon as I walk over, security stands in front and says, nope, you got to leave. And I'm like, what's going on? He said, well, you done sexually or inappropriate something. I don't even remember. I just remember looking at her like, no, that's not true. That is not what happened.
All right, let's pause there. So what Mr. Marcus is alleging in this particular interview, which is essentially a testimony, is that he attempted to get Tasha Rain's attention, and in response, Tasha Rain essentially prompted psychological security brutality upon Mr. Marcus. And it's important to note that Tasha Rain, for quite some time after this incident, did make several allegations on Twitter in regards to feeling assaulted by Mr. Marcus in public at this particular event. All right, let's go ahead and continue.
Why? And I asked her, I said, why are you doing this? And then the ADN established that Marcus got to leave. And so I'm been around a long time, and I've been in uncomfortable situations, and I'm almost comfortable being uncomfortable. So I decide, all right, I'll just leave.
Let's pause there, just because I think that's a very important quote, because I'm sure many of you out there who are watching me that are people of color have felt exactly like how Mr. Marcus just shared how he felt. He's almost comfortable feeling uncomfortable. That is something that very few people who are enabled by white privilege could ever understand. Feeling comfortable with feeling uncomfortable. Not good. Not good.
I just turned, and it's a downstairs, upstairs venue. So I felt embarrassed. I felt rejected. I felt like excluded. I felt immediately, no one wanted to hear my side of the story. No one wanted to look into it further. The decision was made, and there was no changing that. I can feel that.
Okay, Marcus, I want to just back you up on one thing. So witnesses around, there was cameras all over. This was a public venue. Who was with you? Was Shawn Michaels with you?
No, Shawn wasn't with me at the time. I had brought a friend of mine. He was a civilian, and when I asked him did you see what happened? He was like, nope, I didn't. So I really felt alone, to be honest with you. He ended up staying, by the way. He didn't even leave. I ended up just.
I remember.
Just
I saw you getting escorted out, and it was terrible. I just want to add.
We're trying to get to the situation where they blamed Shawn Michaels, and you stepped up. So Shawn Michaels.
This happened in November.
And just to interject, I believe that this happened November of 2017. Also, the other voice that you hear in this interview, I do not know that individual's name, but he seemed to have been a legal expert. Also, as we go further into this video piece, you are going to hear a voice of a witness as well.
And I left the venue, and I didn't question it. Next day, she's tweeting about it. I didn't respond. I just figured it'd go away. Come January, which was not even a month and a half later, we're going to Las Vegas. I spent the whole week getting everything arranged. I bought a table. I bought passes for the convention. I was in and out of AVN's makeshift office at the Hard Rock.
All right, and let's pause right there. There has been a rumor that one of the individuals who was at least spending some time in the AVN makeshift office was an individual known as Michael Federosi. Michael Federosi is not a part of this particular interview, but I do want to warn talent of color not to trust him, especially if you are a male talent of color. Michael Federosi seems to have a problem, especially when it comes to black men. A problem that goes back many years to before he entered a relationship with his current girlfriend or wife, Vanessa Blue. Vanessa Blue used to be in a relationship with an individual known as Lexington Steele, another black male adult actor. Michael Federosi, from my perspective, encouraged and enabled Vanessa Blue to drag Lexington Steele's name through the mud for years. I will not say that Michael Federosi has much of a problem with black females, at least ones that he can control. But black males, trust me when I say, avoid that man. All right, I'm going to continue.
Looking forward to AVN. I had a room at the Hard Rock. So I got my suit, I got a black suit on. I get downstairs, I meet up with Shawn Michaels, I meet up with Julian St. Jacques. These are guys I've known for 20 plus years. We're all going to walk in together. And we walk the long red carpet into the photo area and then the media room, which was separated from everything else. As we walk in there, I walk in there with Peter North, Mandingo, and like 2 other performers. So now we're a large group of men and talking and taking pictures of each other. And I get out on the media carpet and I kind of get ahead of everybody and I see Vivid, and I walk over to Vivid. They're doing media. I talk to them, and then I believe it was an Asian media company there. I talk to them, and as I turn to see who else I can talk to, I see Tasha standing there, and I immediately have flashbacks of the nomination party and all the little mess that she created. And I thought, okay, you better just go back and hang with your boys. And I turned away and walked back and got back with the group, which was only a few feet away. They were only a few feet away. So now I'm walking with them. I'm feeling safety in numbers. Off in the distance, and like I said, I'm observing everything. And so I see Tasha talking with her friend, the camera guy. That was the camera guy from the AVN nomination party. I see him, and I see her talking. And so I decide to try to get ahead of this, whatever mess she was about to create. And I find the AVN staff, one of the same people that I was talking to all week long about my table and passes. I see her, and I say, if she says anything, and I point to Tasha, it is not true. I did not do anything. She caused a problem last time, and I'm worried that she's going to do it again. The immediate response was, Marcus, we don't have time for this. I have a show to run. I got to go. She walked away from me. So I said, okay, just get into the venue. I had my passes. Get into the venue. The group of us walk into the venue. We're standing there because they gave us drink tickets, and we were going to walk over to the bar and get some drinks. But before that could happen, security came over and grabbed Shawn and told him that he was not welcome into the event. Now, I'm putting 2 and 2 together, and they start describing, into their microphone, into their walkie-talkies, he's wearing all black, right? Because me and Shawn were both wearing all black suits. The only difference was Shawn had on a black glove. And so I asked him, I said, I think you guys are talking to the wrong person. I think you guys mean me. Ask him if he was wearing gloves. And so they get on the mic and says, is the person that we were supposed to escort wearing gloves? And they were like, no. I said, then it's me. It's me you're looking for. And so they confirm through their mics or their walkie-talkies, oh yeah, it's Marcus. And they asked me to leave the venue that I had.
Now let's pause there, okay? Because here is the question. Was it really mistaken identity? Or was there somebody with a white supremacist agenda who had the intention of sending a message to not just 1, but 2 veteran black male talents that they may not be welcome when it comes to the future of the adult entertainment industry in America, at least in regards to where AVN is concerned? Just a thought. But let's continue.
Assaulted or unwanted something, Tasha Rain again. And I was just kind of like, okay, here we go again. The look on Shawn's face was confusion. Everybody's face was like confusion, like what is going on? And I said, I'm sorry, guys. This this is a continuation of something that happened back in November, back at the event. And I would explain, but security was like, you got to leave. So I said, sorry, I apologize, and I walked out.
So let's pause again. So keep in mind, Mr. Marcus did not do anything at this event. He had already apologized. And from my perspective, it wasn't even really necessary that he apologized when it came to that incident involving the STD. But that's a whole nother podcast, okay? But the point is that this is a man who's a veteran in the industry who all these years has played the goddamn game. But it's not good enough for a certain group with a certain racist agenda within the adult entertainment industry. Okay? Because that's what this is about. And one more thing. There is a Caucasian male talent, actually several, but one in particular known as James Dean, who has been accused by multiple parties of being sexually aggressive, of essentially rape. But he's welcome at the events. There's a Caucasian individual known as Lucas Frost, who basically weaponized a sexual act against a young woman known as Bella Rose on set. Is he still welcome at the AVN events? I mean, I'm not even sure if to this day Mr. Marcus is banned or not when it comes to AVN events. Someone who's watching this, ask him. Ask the AVN staff. What's the guy who owns it? His name now, Tony Rios. Ask him.
And they escorted me to my room, had me pack up all my stuff, and they allowed me to stay there and have a drink because I had a bottle of vodka in there, a bottle of gin, and I had some people follow me up to the room because they were concerned, and we had a few shots. I packed my stuff, and I left the hotel. And that was that. I never spoke up about it.
All right, Marcus, I want to know. So at first it was mistaken identity. They had picked Shawn Michaels, and you are 5'10". Shawn Michaels is what, 6'3"?
Yeah, Shawn's 5'3". Thank you for being generous, man. I'm 5'8", actually.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So you're 5'8".
There's a big difference between our heights,
and a big difference in description, other than you were wearing black suits, and other than you're both African American.
Black.
Okay. So did anyone bother to review surveillance footage at the Hard Rock to see if any unwanted touching actually took place?
I asked because I was escorted by the Hard Rock staff, and they said they can't do anything about it. It's AVN's event, and they call the shots, and so they're just following their orders. And I was told that was that, and I was told I had to leave. That's all they said.
So let's pause there. Shifting blame. Hard Rock saying, "Oh, it's not us." AVN saying, "Oh, yeah." He's been in the industry for 24 years. I just want to repeat that. 24 years. That's almost a quarter of a century. Almost a quarter of a damn century. All right, let's continue.
So for the record, they never reviewed footage to actually see if anything happened?
No one.
Okay.
I even called the next day and asked the Hard Rock, what's up with that? And they were like,
okay, and Shawn Michaels was how many feet away from you at this time at the AVN Awards?
Do you want me to unmute my...
He was standing right in front of me.
He was right in front of you. Okay, so you'd say, what, like 5 feet at the most?
It wasn't even there. It was about maybe 2 feet. 2 feet. He's standing there. We were in the group. Yeah.
Okay, so Shawn was 2 feet away. There's cameras all over the place. There's ultimate surveillance in the room. And how many people would you say are around you at that? If you estimated how many people were around at that?
Well, if you're talking about when we were on the red carpet, yeah, we were a few feet away from each other on the red carpet because I had stepped away to do a separate interview. And then once I saw Tasha, I returned back to the group because I was just kind of like, I need to keep space between me and her. And then when they approached Sean to say that he had to leave, he was standing right in front of me.
Okay. And then Marcus, explain this. Like, if you were accused of falsely bothering someone at the pre-awards party, and then when you saw her, you seem to have a real nice attitude still. You didn't have any animosity towards her when you saw her the second time. It was just avoid her. That's it. It is what it is. You didn't have any animosity.
I wasn't. Listen, like I said, 24 years of dealing with people in and out of this business. I am well-rounded and I'm grounded. I'm not, I'm more than humble when it comes to this industry. I understand the pitfalls and all the misconceptions, and I'm a performer. I get approached all the time, so I have an even killed demeanor, or else the fans are like, he's such an asshole, and I'm not. I'm just this way. I love talking with people. I learn a lot by dealing with people. So most of the time they just want to share a story or give me props or get a handshake or a picture, and it's over just like that. So there's no need for me to be aggressive. There's no need for me to be angry. There's no need. It's really about just continue to move forward, and that's what I wanted to do.
Okay, Melissa, do we have Shawn Michaels? Is he called in?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. I've already had him unmuted.
Okay, Marcus, you can. We've heard your side of the story. I deem you to be a very credible individual, and I believe you're telling the truth. So I want to get to Shawn Michaels to get his side of the story, if that's okay.
Yeah, because we have 5 minutes for Shawn and 5 minutes for the witness.
Okay, so we're going to get on with that. Marcus, stand by if you want to still hear on the show, and we're going to bring Shawn Michaels in right now.
Yeah, you can just put your phone on there. Thank you, Marcus.
No problem.
Thank you, Marcus.
Got you, brother.
Hey, Shawn. Welcome to the show, Shawn. Thank you for coming, for calling into Raw Talk. So I'm going to turn it over to Michael now.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Shawn. We just got done talking with Marcus, and we just want to hear your side of the story on that red carpet event when you guys were accused of unwanted touching of Tasha Rain.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, I basically heard some of Marcus's explanation of what happened that evening. Evidently, there was I guess I at any given point, I thought we were all together. I didn't know that we were separated or anything of that nature. But I, again, when we were together that evening on the red carpet, did not see Mr. Marcus touch anyone in an aggressive manner, in an aggressive sexual manner, and in any type of manner aggressively. As he mentioned, all of us were just glad to be there, and as we always are when we're on the red carpet, thankful for the people who come to basically give us acknowledgement and support, and as Marcus has said earlier, props. So it was very shocking to me to be approached by hotel security and other seemingly some undercover people as well, as we were exiting the red carpet that evening, and being accused of touching someone, being also pointed out specifically because of my black gloves, that what they were sure with me, because of course I asked several times, are you guys, first of all, I thought it was a joke. Right. I'm from Brooklyn, we like to joke, but I thought this was a joke, and I turned out it was not a joke, and I'm like, okay, I'm getting a little pissed here, if not very pissed here, so someone needs to go get Peter Warren.
I'm going to pause right there. Again, Shawn Michaels and Mr. Marcus look nothing alike, with the exception of them both having worn black, all black, that particular evening, and of course, them both having black skin, about my complexion. From my perspective, and again, this is only my opinion, this was a show of force against African American males by a white supremacist group within the adult entertainment industry that I personally believe is linked to the Adult Video News Media Network, AVN. Really, from my perspective, AVN never needs to even tweet the hashtag Black Lives Matter. I feel the same about Tasha Rae. I feel the same in regards specifically, directly, when it comes to Peter Warren. And without a doubt, I feel that way in regards to Peter Warren's buddy, known as TRPWL. But let's continue.
Peter Warren is
Peter
with
Warren.
AVN. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's. I basically wanted someone to let these guys know who I was. So, you know, because they were like, no, you definitely have to go. You were pointed out. I'm like, no, I don't, because I haven't done anything. So, anyway, when Peter came out in the hallway, and now there's a crowd gathered. Now it's a basic scene, and Peter goes, no, it's not Sean. If I recall correctly, it's Marcus, or something to that nature. And security looked actually dumbfounded, which if you would just check your security cameras that are in place for something of this nature, you would this probably wouldn't happen. All right. But that wasn't the case in my opinion, because obviously they had the wrong person according to the whole situation of what was alleged. And
and let's pause there. There wasn't a wrong person, because nobody did anything wrong at this event, at least not from my perspective, aside from being born black. Why do you hate black people, Peter Warren? Why? Is it because you've dated women who prefer black men to you? Is it because for years working in the adult entertainment industry, you have realized that quite often black men are more endowed than you? Is it because you're just a bigot, piece of trash? I'm just asking. Let's go ahead and continue.
Sean, I want to reiterate, at this time, you are the president of the adult union at this time.
At this time, yes.
The accusation. Okay. Mm-hmm. So you are the president, you're the standing president of the adult union, and you've been in the industry, let's say 25, 30 years at this point?
29 and counting.
29-year veteran of the industry, impeccable record.
Let's pause. 29 years. And it's important to note that Shawn Michaels, at least from my perspective, felt pressure to step down from that position that he held as the president of the APAG union. Yeah, and it's a shame because nowadays you have guys like Ricky Johnson who are making it clear via their Twitter feed that they feel that black talent doesn't have a voice. Ricky, black talent has a voice. It's just that that voice is often suppressed. So that guys like you, Ricky, are under the impression that such voices don't exist. But they exist. You just need to open your ears a little bit. You need to open your damn eyes, too. Continue.
And president of the adult union, and here you are being falsely accused
In a crowd full of people.
On our night, on our You know, I like to call it our Academy night, because it really is, you know, our night to shine as an industry. Of course, that's not.
And when they reinstated you, Sean, and said you could stay, you were just so upset at that point. You voluntarily just left.
Oh, I absolutely. I coming from where I come from, I wanted to do more than that, but of course, I myself and took it okay. The better.
I didn't know you left.
Yeah, I was, and I'm still pissed about it, Marcus, because it was completely wrong of them to do that. They ruined your evening, obviously. They completely ruined my evening. I had people waiting on the inside, of course, and so did you.
Yeah, guys, we have an independent witness, a member of the press, and I want to bring him on right now. Do we have that member of the press right now?
Yes, we do.
We have him.
Yes, we do.
Okay. You are a standing member of the press. Do you have current press credentials, sir?
That is absolutely correct.
Okay. I want you to quickly surmise you were on the red carpet. You're a member of the press. You had video, camera footage. You were watching everyone's move. You are an independent witness, not connected with these two individuals. What did you see?
All that I saw, I did see Tasha Rain come on the red carpet. And then about 25 minutes later, that's when I saw Mr. Marcus and Shawn Michaels, Julian St. Jacques come on the red carpet, because the red carpet actually is a very slow crawling thing. It takes a while to get up to the point where I was at. But after they left, when I started hearing about this whole thing that Tasha Rain was saying, now I'm standing on the red carpet. There is maybe about 30 other camera crews there. There was also CNN, Access Hollywood, Entertainment Tonight, TMZ, because Stormy Daniels was expected to walk the red carpet. So you had all these camera crews there, and where I was standing at was right next to the crew that was recording the entire event for Showtime to broadcast later on this year on their network. Nobody caught any of this at all, not in the background, not a loud noise, nothing.
Yeah, wouldn't it be? Why today is Karen, Tasha, tweeting Black Lives Matter? Why? Is she trying to attract someone else to reach out and tap her on the shoulder so that she can say that she was assaulted again? Is that what it is? Let's continue.
There is absolutely no way that Tasha Rain could sit there and claim that Mr. Marcus sexually assaulted her on the red carpet when you had at least 100 different cameras there. No way.
I got to interject. If someone was sexually harassed on the red carpet, wouldn't people intervene? Wouldn't it be a big scene? Wouldn't it be an event that people would capture?
Yes.
Yes, it would. I mean, even on the red carpet itself. First and foremost, you have the AVN security. You have members of AVN, the magazine itself, that are standing there on the red carpet. You have you had Tanya Tate's spouse who works for AVN. He's on the red carpet. You have I think that's Mr. Scott Brian. He's on the red carpet. So you have all these AVN staffers that are there on the red carpet.
Really quick, I have to interject. They signed a code of conduct document as well. So don't forget that.
Yeah.
Yes, every
Good point, Ms. Hill. Very good point, Ms. Hill. Actually, I'm going to put together a petition shortly after I post this podcast on change.org that I urge anyone who views this to sign, because Melissa Hill needs to have her show reinstated on LA Talk Radio. At one point in time, I was friendly with Melissa Hill. We no longer speak, but that's besides the point. Melissa Hill, from my perspective, may have lost her show because she decided authentically within herself that Black Lives Matter. So she needs to have her show back. So let's all, I'm going to put a link to the petition when I put it down here, and I need everyone to sign it. And we're going to have to get that petition over to LA Talk Radio. And we're also going to forward this situation and the petition to some groups that deal with systemic racism in various industries, because this whole situation wasn't right, and they have tried to suppress knowledge of this situation. But let's continue. And just so y'all know, this last voice in this podcast that we're hearing is the witness of everything that happened.
Reached out to other members of the press to see if they had footage. Were you able to find any kind of footage on this event?
No, I reached out to other members of the press that were standing to my left and right of me that were taking pictures and videos. None of them have this. I actually spoke. I'm friends with the woman that was hosting the event for Showtime itself, and she didn't hear anything about this. The Showtime cameras didn't pick anything of this. So how could something happen and every camera in there didn't hear it, didn't see it, nothing?
Okay,
that's impossible.
We have 30 seconds to end this, and I'm gonna say that the reason why no one has any footage is because it never happened. Okay?
Never happened.
Never happened.
Never happened at all.
So that's it for this podcast. For those of you who've been wondering what Mr. Marcus has been referring to all this time when it comes to some situations that he experienced, this is what it is. This is what it is. And he's not the only one who's encountered tremendous racism linked to the adult entertainment industry. You guys have heard me screaming and hollering about it forever. And you've seen the backlash that I incurred. You've seen the stalking. You've seen the harassment. You've seen my reputation dragged through the mud. You've seen it all. I'm a very strong person. The reason more Black talent, more Black people in our society do not come forward when it comes to these kinds of things is because they might have a spouse, they might be a parent, they may not have the skills I have to be able to continue on in life. But when I see certain people talking down on the protesters, calling them all looters. They're not all looters. Saying, people need to control themselves because they'll need to be burning down people's businesses. One of those people is Sean TRPWL saying this stuff. Well, you know what? Sean TRPWL metaphorically burned down my business when I was an active talent. Ruined my reputation. Had me blacklisted. That's no different than him lighting a match and burning down my house. So when he's talking about people burning down businesses, he's talking about himself. I built who Monica Foster was, not the porn industry. And he burnt that to ashes. Now from those ashes rose Alexandra Mayers. But if he thinks for one damn second I will ever stop talking about the fact that he is a white supremacist, that he is a racist, that he is a bigot, and that AVN condones his behavior, he better think twice. Because I will talk about it until the day he dies. Have a great day, everybody. And thank you once more for watching another podcast of PNTLIVE, here exclusively on the PNTLIVE network, founded by yours truly, Alexandra Mayers, formerly known as Monica Foster. Good night.